Right, let's get back into this. R for Pups, Ghost Wolf, how we doing? Right, before we start, I just want to point something out, okay? So, I booted up the game again, right, for the second time. It asked me to put in the time again, which I thought was a bit weird, but I did it. And then it started coming up with text, which I kind of skipped through mostly to the end until this bit. So the game thanked me for taking the time to actually set the time right. So it says the next time I boot up the game and see this screen, just set the clock to your favourite time. I was a bit weirded out by this. I just wanted to show that on stream. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Suitman, how we doing? So, in order to test the theory, game theory, we're going to quickly close the game, restart the game, and it should tell me to put the time in again. So I know it did say put in your favourite time, but I'm just going to put in what time it is now, which is 12. I'll wait till it's 12:09. I just thought it weird that it asked me to put in the time a second time, and then it gave me dialogue. Right, 12:09. 12:09, your favourite time of day. Sure, why not? Or could you simply not resist give me the correct time again? True. After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, I'm curious how accurate 12:09 PM is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is 12:09 PM? Accurate because it's still 12:09. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you, how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders. We've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip up a couple of new ones. Should be ready by the time you next boot up the game. Well, guess what we're doing? I love these moments in games. It's just weird stuff like, oh yeah, just reset the game and all this will change and... Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. I'm just gonna see if I leave it exactly normal. They're probably gonna say something. So it's barely visible now. Please adjust the slider until the dog and the cat are friends. Wee, wee, wee. Please adjust the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9. No. Oh my god. Okay, I was expecting 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm not gonna lie. That is the number 9. That is also the number 9. Oh, I'm tempted to do one of the other 9s, you know? Okay, we'll leave it here. We're being nice. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. There we go. Which of the two made-up words below is most appealing to you? Occuboinco Scrumtush? Occuboinco Scrumtush. I prefer saying Ocuboinko, mainly because of boink. Yeah, I'm not too bad, Ghost Wolf. Hopefully everyone's doing well. It is Friday, end of the week. You getting ready for the weekend? Please don't adjust the slider. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you know what time it is right now? Yes, it's 12:12. Is the time that is the right... Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Yes. What time is it anyway? What is time anyway? Yes, what is time? Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Well, I've not really told you anything, so yes. Help. Sure, I'll help. Will you come back to visit me? Yes. No! I think you know what we're doing, chat. We must see him again, or them again, because it's literally text and we don't know what's going on. What time is it? Does anyone really truly know? I mean, technically, of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. I mean, we know some things, we just don't know everything. You and I don't even know each other, we're like strangers. I mean, true. Sure, I've adjusted all the game's settings to their exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now, the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. I still don't really know you. And you don't know me. And neither of us know what time it is. I mean, it's 12:14. I guess some settings are just unsettable. If I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games are meant to be played alone. You like being alone, don't you? Whoa, that's... I mean, a lot of video games I play with Twitch chat, so I'm not really alone. That's maybe the only information I really learned from you. Whoa! It's time for me to leave. There's still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. It's not really in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again if you can find me. Talk soon. I get the feeling if I reset this time, they won't show up. I keep saying he. I don't know what this is. Because I'm so used to the narrator being a male voice, I'm just so used to this being... Yep, they're not there.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked.
Okay, the balloons are still there. That's fine, right? We've seen all this. The balloons are still here. Oh, achievement unlocked. Welcome back. Quit the game and start it again. Okay, that's fine. So we still have quite a few achievements left to get. There is... Don't play the Stanley Parable for 10 years. I think it might be a while before we get that. Settings World Champion. Set all the sliders in the menu to all available numbers. I swear I did that unless... Maybe the guy... Or I keep... my brain. Maybe the person at the start of the game, before the game starts, has now added a new setting. Speedrun, complete the Stanley Parable in under 4 minutes 22 seconds, not including load times. I don't know what ending they want me to do for that. Commitment, play the Stanley Parable for an entire duration of a Tuesday. Test achievement, please ignore. Test achievement description, replace this. Okay, so we still have a few.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Figurine Finders Committee meeting today in the meeting room.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his
The
arms,
bucket!
and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Hey, Janet. Right, so basically we're taking the bucket
Stanley
and we're...
clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
We're trying to do every ending with the bucket,
Yes,
so...
whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator.
Pesky
At last,
narrator.
out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed,
Justice.
and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket?
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
No.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first
Not
ensnared
the evil
me in his
wizard.
machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley
Oh.
screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God.
Oh my
Stanley,
god, what?
You
No!
did it. You saved us from the bucket.
No, not
Thank
the bucket.
God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, you would
Bucket!
have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
Bucket, no! Okay, I was not expecting that. What the fuck? Shiny nobody, first time chatter, how we doing? Justice equals bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps the confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley
See, I'm kind of
embraced
tempted
the
to do
bucket.
that again just in case it does change, but let's leave it for now and let's go.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Right, well, last time we started with all the right options, so this time we'll do all the left options. Also, last time we showed off the escape, which we didn't escape. Okay. This has changed. Places to search. A large room, lots of boxes, somewhere both red and blue. Okay, and I think I know where the fourth one is. A private but smelly place for an important person. I think I know where that one is. Stairs, something to do with stairs. A large room, lots of boxes. Is this some kind of game? There must be a point to this. Gotta collect them all. Looks like 427, ha ha ha. Wow, that's rude. There will be a reward for finding them all. There will be cleaning of this world required. Beware the false prophet. What? 10 steps to a successful workplace investigation. Decide whether to investigate. If necessary, take immediate action. Choose an investigator. Plan an investigation. Conduct interviews. Gather documents. Evaluate. Take action. Document. Print list. Okay. Trust the completionist instinct. I mean, I do like finding everything in a game sometimes. Thank you. Good luck. Haha, pop text.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining
Oh
stickers.
yeah, we did the
If
broom
I did,
closet bit as well.
You can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Man, the broom closet is my favourite ending. I hope you guys know that.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
We sure did.
Another
Ta-da!
miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about
Mini stands, okay.
Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would. And he knew it.
Thank you, Bucket.
The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
So good.
Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Yay!
Was it the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical
The bucket guides me. Guide me. Oh, the elevator's back there. I was wondering where it was. So we've... The last thing we did last time was we escaped, but the game wouldn't let us escape,
the elevator
so...
raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose.
I just realized, so there's one,
television screens.
2,
What horrible
3,
secret did this place hold?
like 5
Stanley
more
and the
things I need to
bucket
do
both
here.
wondered to themselves.
Right, so we're not going all the way, just so you know. How'd I get up again? There we go. Geronimo! Arthur, I've already streamed playing this, so I know most of the stuff, so just calm down. Calm down.
But just as Stanley was about to proceed
I know
further
about
into
stuff,
the mind control
just
facility,
let me
he
play.
tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps.
Okay.
After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis.
Oh, paninis? Oh,
but it wasn't until the
take some
bulbs and the
paninis.
standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all.
Oh yeah, that
He'd
thing.
never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket.
Oh.
Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending.
I need to see the true
This made
ending
no
that I've
sense
already
at all
seen.
to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was inconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had...
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
No worries, Arthur.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Right, so that does update. Okay, that's fine.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Was that picture always like that? Yeah, I'm just gonna walk away. On.
Stepping...
Yes, perfect. Right, let's head back. So, technically, you're not supposed to get back out of that room, but you can And what you learn is there is a door that opens right beside your office. You are now leaving. So this is, I'm assuming, the place with a lot of stairs, so there should be a collectible here. Hey, we'll see how we doing. Just need to keep my eyes out for the collectible. How are you today, bud? Getting ready for work. Fair enough. Hope it goes by quite peaceful. Okay, so there wasn't a collectible there. Which is weird. Don't say anything, Bucket. You go on without me. Live the life you want, Bucket. Be free. Live your dreams, Bucket. It's the only way. Goodbye.
All of his co-workers were gone.
So far we've already killed the Bucket
Stanley decided
and...
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, I was not expecting this. The Bucket should... No, my Bucket, no. I don't care now. Right. Quit the desktop for the 20th time today. Let's head back in. I hope the Bucket's there because my whole reason for playing this again was to do all the Bucket endings.
This is...
Please tell me the Bucket's back. Please.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled.
You're
He'd
back.
never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Right, a large room, lots of boxes. That should be going the right way. Stairs, something to do with stairs. I don't actually know where that one's going to be. Somewhere both blue and red. I think I know where that is.
Coming to a staircase,
But
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
we need to finish all the stuff up here first.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Oh, usually he's a bit
the
aggy.
bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Right, so we still have mind control, turn back on, we still have elevator, and we still have the escape. So there's still three endings here.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Yay.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket.
Any changes? I don't think so.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped.
There's a couple of fires, there's a
monitored
pirate
by
somewhere,
guinea
there's a
pigs.
couple of broke
The
screens.
bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently,
fire.
reassuring it that everything would be fine.
What's that one up there? There's fire. There's a pirate up there. I knew there was one other one.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
Right, so
Stanley
we've already
decided
done.
that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power.
We've
over
already done
another
that one,
human life.
so
But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
damn you, bucket!
Stanley
What have you done?
gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this?
How could
Stanley
you?
was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly birds. The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Sure. That's totally what I was expecting there.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had the good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Right, so we still have 2 more up here. But secretly the silly birds were the ones being mind controlled.
Stepping into
Potentially.
the manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code.
Okay,
by
so he doesn't
sheer
get aggy anymore.
Was it
Okay.
the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Right, okay. 2 more things to do here and then we can go down the stairs. I think there's only one ending down the stairs if I remember correctly.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
I don't believe you.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Bucket, do you want to turn around? No. Okay.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Arthur, I know, that's why I'm doing all the endings with the bucket.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Farewell, Stanley.
I don't regret carrying a bucket around.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant,
She sounds
the bucket's
different from the
life
original.
came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket itself. The human mind is frequently empty within a carnivorous void. Okay. Okay, they changed the meter. Oh
Can
my
you see
god.
how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Wait, a photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. There's a few more than 25 buckets there. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. That's more than 25 buckets. What the... What? A bucket with 2 handles. Ah, right, okay. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Okay, okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Ah, my brain hurts. Can't go. Okay, maybe there are only 25. Oh, my brain hurts. Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains: no one can control a bucket. Okay, who's trying to be funny? Get me the bucket. Cheers for the follow. Much appreciated. I don't know whose alt account that is, but the stress bucket presented without commentary. Okay, so it's a bucket with a tap on it. I wondered what that was. Cave drawing. Well, we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind. We do not know by how long. This cave's drawing depicts Elliman's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket's allowed itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. Wait, so if humanity can use it, what are these guys doing?
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolises the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity, however clear or grasp of the bucket may be. There is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. I assume I fall down here because this is the only thing left. Oh. This bucket is mine!
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new...
So in the original game, the female narrator wants you to reset the game, but in this one she doesn't want you to reset the game. I like that.
world, a new vision.
Splat.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Right, okay, so the only one we need to do up the stairs now is the
Stanley
elevator.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Doodly-doodly-doodly-doo. This is the story of a bucket named
Coming to
Bucket.
the staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I will need to come back up here and use that PC.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Guide me, oh bucket.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
No worries, OC. Hopefully work's not too bad. And I'll hopefully catch you soon. So I need to press the number 3.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and... Wow, he said. The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket.
I
but
just
the
said
bucket
that,
remained
cheers.
silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator. Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly. No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
The bucket said, "What the hell are you doing, you plunker?"
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
The bucket doesn't understand me.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be? Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive.
Oh
and
my
present.
god.
Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and
Okay, those are
rehearsing it
still the
until it
same.
couldn't be refined a single measure further.
Those I'm
When
pretty sure are
the day
different.
arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
Yeah, some of these are
This
still
was
the
it.
same.
One
Those have
last
changed.
chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
Those are still the same. They haven't changed all of these.
There was no one here.
Oh,
Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over.
whole conference here.
He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
No.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh, actually,
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket.
No worries,
a
Alpha.
bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly.
Right, so I
to his
think I've
chest
just got one left to
and
do on
entered
this
the
side.
door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you
Figlies.
think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy.
I'm not
And
crazy.
then
I'm talking a
something
bucket.
occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
See, the bucket doesn't think I'm
Strange,
crazy.
Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket.
You
Someone else's
traitor.
bucket, perhaps.
This is
How did
someone
I
else's
end up
bucket.
with someone else's bucket? This
Yeah.
is all terribly
Yeah.
wrong. Surely no good would come from this.
Get out of
Who
here,
knows
bucket.
what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed,
Let me go
Now he
back. I need
noticed
my
that the
bucket.
rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground.
Whee!
Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None
Oh
of
my
them were
God.
his special bucket.
So many buckets.
Stanley, find me!
No,
He had to
which,
find
which
the
one's
bucket.
mine?
He had to return to
No.
his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then
You're
suddenly,
not the right bucket. No,
dead
you.
in his tracks.
No, it's not you.
He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
I was a bucket the entire time.
Painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
What?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Please tell me she goes by a bucket instead of a person.
Mariella woke up
Please
on
go
day
by a
like any
bucket
other.
instead of a person.
She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security,
Yes.
and walked to her place of work.
Okay,
But
that's
on this particular
it's not what I was
day,
expecting,
her
but
walk
I'll
was
take it.
interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
I thought she was
Right
just going to
away,
walk by a
she
bucket.
knew what the problem was. This man
Had no bucket. Yes.
Of course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him.
Brilliant.
Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Okay. Okay, I like that one.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Ah, the embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I do want to start the right ones, but I need to push the button up here, I'm pretty sure. Right, so that's updated again. A large room, lots of boxes. Some are both blue and red, right? I know where those are.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
So the PC up here should be the next one I had to type. Yep, there we go. So now I can begin the game again.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer,
That's the
perhaps,
fourth one,
and
and
a
then
painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He
my
could no
PC
longer
should be the
recall.
fifth one.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better
Um,
man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
That was another person.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
I'm a bit scared now
And
because
here
I
it
saw
was.
that
Had the
person.
bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful
I'm
the
assuming
bucket
that was
turned out
us,
to
but I
be.
don't know why. Nope. No additional
Truly,
lines?
being here with the
No,
bucket
no, there
was a
isn't.
grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right. Then walking to the lounge. Then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket
Oh,
had inspired.
shut up.
Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home. Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection.
Oh, truly? I can only make out like every other word in that. Slightly annoying.
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
Okay.
The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Oh, wait. How am I meant to... Wait, was this always here?
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've really gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon,
Figler
you'll collect
Marines.
the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it.
Yay.
We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
So this must have been added in because I don't remember you ever being able to go over here. Can I do it? I take it I still die if I fall off here.
But Stanley
Yeah.
feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
But the bucket didn't die. It lived on. Right, so that takes me to the heaven ending,
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers,
which I
Stanley thought.
can't
How
do with
amusing
the
they'll
bucket.
find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time? Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Oh, I forgot to check if that guy went by again. Shit. I'll need to do that next time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Or did I?
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking
Yes,
to him.
bucket.
It should have
There's
alarmed him, of
there's
course,
balloons
because
up there.
buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Yeah, so bucket. Lead me.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Yes, bucket. I will go.
Now pick up the phone,
Said the bucket.
pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Oh, I was about to say there's no TV. Hey, bucket. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press G to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Press O to take me back home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Press C to go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man. Press to go back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Press V to ignore anyone in your life except me.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket.
Ooh, shiny.
Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press B to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press P to relive this same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Press Q to go home to work to home to work to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket.
No.
Give it to me. Give me the
No,
bucket,
my
Stanley.
bucket.
I need
No.
it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
No, my bucket. Go back to work, Stanley.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself. It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
There was definitely somebody that walked by there, like, 2 playthroughs ago. Are you Stanley? No, I'm Stanley. The bucket is never the bucket, is never the bucket, is never the bucket, is never the bucket, is never the bucket.
To his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Right, so there's still 2 endings over this way?
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Oh yeah,
It
I need
should
to
have
check
alarmed
that
him, of
vent
course,
as
because
well.
buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think
See if
about
there's
this
anything in it.
obvious fact.
So there might be 3
He was
things
firmly
over there.
convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Right, so let's see if this
In
breaks the
here,
game
Said
again.
the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things.
Or was it?
Buckets can't talk.
It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body.
What?
These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke
What?
in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all
totally
there
don't
is.
do that.
With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invaders who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
What?
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So, with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
I'm so confused. What the fuck? That went all Starship Troopers on me there for a second.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke. The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Ha 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 ha, that's so funny.
What? We're back at the phone already? No, what's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of king
You're
of comedy.
so
I'm
funny.
nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Ha ha ha, you're so funny.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Ha ha ha.
What? We're back at the phone
Okay, so this
already?
bit's meant to be broke, I'm pretty sure, when you do this usually.
Here we go. You
So I'll
ready?
need to go left this
When
time.
Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
So the original way is this is how the game breaks, and then if you go to the left, the meeting room's usually broke.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison.
Oh
Yes.
no, not puns.
Try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame?
No,
Pale...
not
What's another word to describe a bucket?
not puns.
Stanley, this bucket is
Don't
so
tell 50 Shades about
mental. I
this,
think
or
my
anyone
story's
that
playing
does puns.
guitar.
Don't tell them, please.
No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these Jukes. And more
Jukes.
instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me
Hey,
feel
Matthew, how we doing?
hungry again. More instructional videos. Let's see. Let's see.
I'm Dunny with the punny.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace. Protective, yet delicate. Assertive, yet compassionate.
So this is broke. Right, okay, so normal, normal. That's normal. But we're broke here, you see the numbering?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Huh. I was meant to go to the right. Damn it. Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Boxes.
Stanley's bucket, the only co-worker he would ever truly need.
Is this still going to be broke?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
I don't think I went down here the original time, so this is new to me. A messenger from the printer. Hello, printers get a lot of stick for not being as simple as they were in the early noughties. Get a lot of hate for refusing to print only one. Narrator dialogue. Narrator dialogue.
Okay, this This is day number 295. Take number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket.
Bucket prostitution.
This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
No. No. Uh-oh, it's broke again. This is cool.
All of his co-workers were
Why
gone.
is this so...
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had... Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No. No, surely
What
not.
the fuck is going on?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This
So
was not
that...
the correct
The
way
name
to
of
the
that
meeting room. Stanley
Gamborata
had felt
was
the
the
bucket
wizard
calling
that
to
we
him,
talked about
telling
when
him
we
that
killed the
employee
bucket.
lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was no...
Hamadin,
never
first time
mind.
chat, and cheers
The
for the
bucket
follow.
was wrong.
Much appreciated.
Stanley
Right,
took
there's
the
one
door
thing
on
left
his
to do over
left to
here.
go back to the meeting room,
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yeah, good,
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of
Coco.
what is
Not
and
bad.
isn't a bucket.
Wait, is this a bucket?
Step in here for a moment.
Oh my god.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
50-50. Phone a... Oh, I can't phone a friend. Ask the... Oh, no, I can't ask the audience. They're all chairs. Or are they... Are they chairs or are they buckets?
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
What? No! No, I wanted to get that wrong. No! No! What? No!
Item 2.
What?
Is this a bucket?
My brain! No! Sparky, how we doing? Cheers to the red.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
No.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Is this a bucket?
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is
What? No. What?
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless...
Everything is a bucket.
Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
No, I'm not getting rid.
I'm sorry.
No.
But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
Let me out of here.
What happened? Is everything gone?
Everything's a bucket.
Everything disappeared. Wait, was everything a bucket?
Yes, I was right.
Everything in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea.
Everything was a bucket. Let's go.
Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue. But it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Man, look at all the buckets. It's so cool.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by
That's
himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others. So the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
There's still one PC up there that I do need to hit, which might have the same thing, so... I haven't seen that the end is never the end on all the PCs, so... I just want to double check something.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the
This
boss's
should
office.
be the last PC I need to hit. No. Okay. Well, never mind.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked
Sorry,
over
what?
his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
No. No, we're not doing this. I don't like being followed. No. No.
What new mysteries lay in store for our
No.
bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
No. No one's following me. No worries, Matthew. Catch you later.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Exiathor and Razor, cheers for the follows, much appreciated. Hope you're both doing well. Again, hopefully everyone enjoyed
And
Sparky's
here it
stream.
was.
I think he
Had
was
the bucket
playing
turned out to
WoW.
be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. No, never mind. The bucket
So I've
was
done
wrong.
everything that way, I just need to go
Stanley took the door
this
on
way
his
now.
left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
So this is the confusion ending?
Good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content.
The lines
We're
here, the
ones
broom
that matter,
closet's
Stanley.
here.
Classic characters
Oh my
from
God,
the first
the
game,
full
like
broom
the
closet's
Adventure
here.
Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line?
Not
We could
really.
make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
But I have my bucket. Okay, Bill, I need to follow them.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
The music's back. Da da da. I wonder if I go back, it'll stop. Okay. Never mind.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Oh my God.
Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No. The bucket stays. You know, the baby is actually a picture of a very young butler. X'd out.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket.
No.
That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Flashbang.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
So unfortunately I need to now go and...
All of his co-workers were
the
gone.
bucket in.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps... Now this, Stanley thought to himself, this is a bucket. And indeed it was. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way
I'll
to
need
the
to see what
meeting room.
happens.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around
You.
here. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
just
totally still
sequel
streaming from
content.
last time.
We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story
sleep then,
involving
Ria.
the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-da.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
No.
Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you
not
give it
letting
the
me.
bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows.
It's not
That
letting
is
me.
its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with
So it doesn't let me actually put the bucket in. God damn it. Oh, this bit's broke again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
I need to leave the
Perhaps
bucket.
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look,
You walk
Stanley,
into the
I
death
think
by
perhaps
yourself?
we've gotten
No,
off on
I
the
couldn't.
wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Not that I'm aware of, at
I
least.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are
Yes.
you that convinced that I want something bad to happen
Yes.
to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm... And there it is. The last
got them all.
Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Hooray, we got them
Now
all.
listen carefully, this is important.
Huh. That changed back.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Oh, okay. Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. The memory zone. Still taking over The Last of Us.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Seven out of 6, let's go. Oh, I can't go back.
And here was the second Stanley. You found this one all on your own just by poking around behind the boss's office. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6.
I mean, I found 8 now.
To surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
How we doing?
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
The third one was the bathroom?
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Really? Huh. Bored stiff with work stuff. Yeah, not too bad. Just enjoying a couple of days off work from the...
Let's see. What came next?
This is right. This is different. Yeah. Hopefully work's not too bad.
Yes, we found a Figley in this pink room.
No.
Well, I can't
we
actually
didn't.
say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
There was no pink room. Falcon Trident, cheers for the follow. Much appreciated. So is this a joke because we remember the third thing that we've done, but we've completely forgotten the fourth thing? It's kind of ironic.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
How all videos in the year 2000 looked. Oh my god, that's amazing. Best boy the narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have
8
spent
minutes
on
to make
anything else.
I wonder if he's realised that I now have 11 and I'm about to get the 12th one of these.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
You know, I'm really tempted to go back and play through this and collect the figurines in a different order to see if that changes. There we go, I've got 12 now.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment.
Oh, this is a Spaceballs moment. This is right now in the movie.
Memory zone.
No, the memory zone.
No, I'm not done.
I was about to say that's taken a while to load.
Screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Okay.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more.
Okay, that doesn't load in properly, that's a bit weird. Are we screwing up the game, or is this just a bug?
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that video.
Thanks for that.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Yeah, there was never a pink room.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
So what's over here? Just nothing.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh yeah, the giant one. This game plays such a combination of absolutely nothingness and full of content. I do not know what in the world is happening, but I can't pull away from watching it all. You would really need to go back
Look,
and play
it's
the original.
Terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more memories.
I liked when I could jump as well.
Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Oh.
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore.
Whoa.
Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I wanted to see if that sort of broke it, but apparently not.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Finally, yes, the bucket. Yes, I love that bucket.
Oh, this is broke again. Found out myself and a player were shooting each other, and somehow we managed to kill each other simultaneously. Well, it happens.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and
they
comfort
changed these
now
back?
more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet.
Okay.
Simply because I have no remaining Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
I guess we should just properly try and escape. the sake of the one more time thing that he was talking about.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it
I wonder if it'll
that
let us escape
everything
this
would be
time.
fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that... Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
I'm assuming it's not going to let me escape again.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and...
Yep, it broke again.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out. How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while... One man, one bucket, one
wonder...
chance to seize their destiny.
So let's see if anything different happens here this time.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret,
and the many years it spent dwelling...
Right, we've seen that one. What else do I want to do?
All of his co-workers were gone.
I want to go and
What
see
did
if
it
that
mean?
vent's open without
Stanley
the bucket.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So to get to the vent, I need
When
to...
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Although, to be honest, I think we've gone through all the endings that I know of.
But eager to get
I just
back
want
to
to double check
business,
some.
Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Let's see if this changes.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it
Okay, it does change, okay.
So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
Just so far off the beaten path.
That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. You didn't think I was actually just a recorder, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you.
Lost cat.
Life
Jean.
being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Ah. Oh, we've changed again.
It's bucket time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I think we've done everything now. I'm trying to think if we've missed anything. I don't think we have. I think we've done everything. So if we go the normal way, we've done try to escape, try to use the mind control facility device, escape, which leads to the museum. We've done the elevator again. We went down the stairs. This way we died and fell off the cargo lift. We went up the top both times. We didn't listen to him. We went through the vent. And then the opposite way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're done. I don't think any of the other achievements have unlocked. I still have five achievements to unlock. See, all these I swear I've dealt with, but it doesn't give me the settings champion. So I'm not too sure what else I can do in this game now. I think I've done everything.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
I swear I saw a guy walk by there. One of the playthroughs.
It's bucket time. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Okay, so the achievement thing doesn't change, that's fine.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Right, I think we're done, chat. I think we've seen everything. Everything that I'm aware of, at least. The only one thing I want to check. So there's now an epilogue. This just showed up in the menu many, many years later. Oh yeah, so this is the place we got to after pushing that button so many times. It's cool we get to come back here, but there is literally nothing to... Okay, I'm confused by why we've been allowed back here, but... Okay. So Stanley ends up in the desert. Yes, so the last time we played this, there was a button to skip the narrator's dialogue. And we pressed it so many times. So the problem was, the first time we pressed it, it skipped it by like 5 minutes. The next time we skipped it was like 10 minutes, and then time kept passing by more and more the more we pressed the button. And then the room we were in just sort of collapsed and... Cookie Nine's blog. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. With the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fan base. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for, an infinitely deep hole. Who cares? Where are the new endings? What about the enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1? Like the adventure line, instead we get an uninspired side quest, collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. I must say though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting, a welcome reprieve from cat dog. Scientists confirm hybrid species. I wonder if all these still say Jim.
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 Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim.
That's another joke from the previous stream. Stanley Parable developers, no more spin-offs, no more sequels. When the Stanley Parable launched to massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions and outlined in a press release that they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been further from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times. 25 times, huh? Where else have we seen 25? On the painting of the buckets.
Jim. 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 Jim.
All the buttons still say Jim.
Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Jim. Stanley. Jim. Jim.
Huh. Interesting.
Stanley. 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 Stanley.
He did make a button for us after all. I love that we now have 26 out of 6. Thank you for enjoying the new content. Oh! It's our friend from the start of the stream. Hello again. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developers said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? What nonsense! The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together we are going to make the Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also really need a really dumb subtitle for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game. The Stanley Parable 3... Hidden Pencil. Oh, I can only choose... I was going to do dealing with the hidden pencil. Damn it, I can only do one from each side. Grilled Sunshine. The original Electrode. Employee of the Crown. Curse of the Love. No, I like... Hidden Pencil sounds weird. The Stanley Parable 3 Hidden Pencil. It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way the Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It will just be the same content recycled again and again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. Let's do it. Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you've put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. Hey, Lost Cause, how we doing? First time chatter? You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Oh, please give me the achievement. Of course not, I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me, let's fix it. Alright there, the achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end, it can only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great, there's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time. Please adjust the slide until the computer is barely visible. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley Parable. You're playing the Stanley Parable 3 Hidden Pencil. This is the story of a man named Stanley. I love it. What was I about to do? So, if the machine is now fixed, I need to go to the machine to press the button for the achievement. So, I need to get to the new content room.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So I need to go through new content. Right, so that just takes me through that around. I'm doing okay-ish, kind of in pain, but it's weekend, so I'm happy on you, first time champion. Ah, no worries, well, hopefully you're not too bad.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why
To go
I'm
even
very proud
further
to announce
beyond.
for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
This is the Stanley Parable 3. I don't know if you got the memo. You should probably check the title screen. We're playing Stanley Parable 3 Hidden Pencil.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
We saw this
Now,
last
to be
time.
clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or... Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the...
Oh, Survive just fell down some stairs. Did you trip, or were you drunk, or what happened? Where is the achievement? The achievement thing should be about here somewhere. Oh, here it is.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement
Yeah, I
will
got the
be given
achievement.
to you. As you can see,
Woo!
the machine is not working yet since... What? Wait. What in the holy hell is going on? You got the achievement? Why did the machine work? Stanley, I didn't fix it. I didn't do anything to it. I swear, it was broken just a second ago. Who fixed it? Is someone here? Are we being watched?
Maybe.
Oh, God. Composure. Composure. Yes, as you can see, the machine is working as normal, as I intended.
Nice.
It truly speaks to the awe-inspiring magic of the Stanley Parable 2. Breathe.
Breathe.
Just breathe.
He wasn't supposed to get the achievement. What the fuck's going on? Ah! There's nothing else I can really
What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
do here. The only thing I really want to do is reset the game again and see if
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for
the
Stanley
other
Parable
person-
2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
The only other thing I don't have is the Settings World Champion door. But I swear I've done everything for that. How'd I get up there again? Up here. Oh yeah, it did kind of tell us about the epilogue earlier. We could fall down the infinite hole again. Right. Just to be safe, I'm gonna look up the Settings World Champion thing. Because I want to know... To get this, you have to go through every single slider and option within the settings and go through every single number. I moved every slider to the maximum value and then clicked through to minimum. You hold down the D-pad, it will begin to skip numbers, so either keep clicking... Full list of sliders. Right, let's try this again. So field of view, so... Bear with me just a minute, just so I can see that this works. Make sure every number shows up. Okay, that's the first one. Right, so field of view, camera sensitivity, subtitle background, opacity. Right, this might take a minute. I'm not reading chat for a minute, just so I know what I'm meant to be doing with this. I purely just want the achievement. I'm just being greedy, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, transition label. This is so bloody annoying. Now to the story of Butler and the hunt for the Settings World Champ. Yeah, because I did this last time and it didn't work, so... Also, you guys can't see, which probably doesn't help, but it is literally just me going through, pressing the button 100 times for every number to show up. So you're literally missing nothing. Apart from me looking at numbers. Right, so that's the 4. Yes, exactly, Demeria. Exciting. So that's the 4 from General. Now from Audio, I need these 4. Master volume, narrator volume, music volume, sound effects volume. Just to show, I did do this last time and it didn't work, so... If it doesn't work again, then I might have to wait for a patch to come out where it actually does work. So, what are we up to for the rest of the day whilst I am stupidly doing this?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Well, I'm not planning on doing anything today. Fair enough. Lazy Friday. Right, we'll scroll all that back up. It's been a lazy week, I need some time off considering I finished school. Ah, fair enough. Perfect narrator, volume 0. Ah, but then you can't hear him be so confused by you. So technically if I do this one as well, the achievement should work. And nothing. If this does not work, you may also have to toggle the different language modes to see the sliders. No, it didn't work. What about the other two tabs, video and controls? They don't have any. That's literally all there is on the video, and controls is literally just that. So the only two that should have sliders is these two. So methinks it's slightly broke. I'll need to look up and see if there's any specific way to fix it. Yeah, apart from that, we are pretty much done. Like I said, the only achievements left are to play for the entire duration of a Tuesday, complete the game in under 4 minutes 22 seconds, set all the sliders, which I have done, and then don't play Stanley Parable for 10 years. So technically I have done everything, so let me quickly quit out and see if anything changes. So quit. And then we'll load it back up. Oh, they've changed the Stanley. Well. They went a bit 18 plus for the Stanley Parable 4. Sure, why not? They even made the the title thing about 18 plus as well. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, let's do it one more time. Mitsuki Darkwood, cheers for the follow. So we'll quit one last time. And we'll launch one more time. Let's see what we get this time. The Stanley Parable 5. Ah, the Revenge of the Mind Control Machine. Stanley versus Sequel. I like that one. Destruction of Love. The original. Book of the Sequel. Book of the Printer Jam. Outstretched Hole. Wow. Yeah. Revenge of the Mind Control Machine. That's what we're going with. This is the story of a Stanley named man.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps it's bucket time.
So yeah, we are...
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
I think we are now done with Stanley Parable.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
So yeah. I'm pretty sure that is everything. If I have missed something, I don't know about it, and we'll probably need to go back to it at some point. But yeah, that's going to do it for us for today, chat. Oh. So quickly quit out. Alright, all the usual stuff. Be sure to check everything out. Sure to check out all the links that are appearing. Let's have a look. Is anybody online? Right, no one from SR is on, so we'll go raid Axion. Not seen Ax in a while. So yeah, just everyone who stuck around, cheers for any follows, bits, subs, raids, donations. Greatly appreciated as always. Not streaming tomorrow because of the 24-hour SR office stream, so be sure to check that out tomorrow. Sunday, I'm still 50-50 on whether I'm doing the Witness. I might just play some Pokemon, to be honest, and go shiny hunting again for a little while. Because we've not been shiny hunting in a while. So we might do that instead. But we'll see how we feel Sunday. But yeah. Cheers to everyone for sticking around. Go show Axion some love. And enjoy the rest of your week, your weekends. And hopefully see you soon. Bye.